Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, Cookie is roaming around trying to find a good spot to be a nuisance. She's feeling a little lonely because Justin has been away all weekend. And I mean, I've been petting her and she's been hanging out with me, but I think she just likes it when all her people are together. So yeah. She's gonna be walking around. Hopefully she doesn't eat the plant behind me. She really likes to eat all the plants. So I might have to stop a couple times and tell her not to do it anymore. We will see. Yeah, so like I said, welcome back. Today's video is an update on my Outlander read-along. We are just zooming through the books. It's going so quickly. Now that I'm a little busier with school and everything, it really does feel challenging to finish reading. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm trying my best. I'm behind. I'm a little behind. But that's okay. I will catch up. I'll have time to catch up. It'll all work out. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I just need to have kind of the personal discipline to not let more than a day go by that I don't read. That's just kind of how it has to be. I have to read hopefully every day or every other day for sure, and a significant portion. Last week, I think on Monday night, I read the whole night. It was great, like kind of from 5 to 7 or 8, I just read, and that was good. And I think I need one of those kinds of nights at least once a week in order to keep up, because they're long books and I am a really fast reader and I have read them before, so all of that helps. But yeah, I just have to have that kind of commitment to a schedule or else I won't finish in time. And I really, really want to. I want to make it so bad. I want to make it so bad. I want Go Tell the Bees to come out in November and I want to be like, yes, I just finished last night. My new book has arrived. I'm ready. Speaking of which, I haven't ordered it yet. I don't know what is wrong with me. I need to get on that. I don't want to order like a special copy or a special version or anything like Diana Gabaldon, the author. She signs a bunch of copies. I don't need a signed one. I'm not fancy like that. And I'm guessing if I order it in November, the only choice will be a hard copy, like a hardback, and that would suck. I don't have any hardbacks right now of Outlander, and I don't like reading hardbacks because it's harder. This sounds so stupid. It's harder to manipulate the physical book. You can't fold it as easily, or you can't fold it at all. And when they're so big and you're reading them in bed and you're trying not to fall asleep, and so you have the book and it's just balanced and it hits you in the face because you do fall asleep, it's really annoying when it's a hard copy. So that's kind of, I think, why I haven't ordered it, but I just need to bite the bullet and just order it. So yeah, there's a couple hours left in the weekend. Maybe that's my goal for middle of this week. Order the book so that I know I get a copy because it's so popular. Maybe there won't be any left, and that would just be heartbreaking if I did all this and I read so quickly and then there wasn't even a copy for me to read. Tragedy. So yeah, this is an update on my Outlander read-along. It is currently Sunday, September 26th. This is the last day to finish, technically, in the read-along challenge. You can finish anytime. This is the last day to finish The Fiery Cross, which is book 5 in the series. Sorry, my mistake. It is book 5, not book 4 in the series. So yeah, I did finish. It was a close call. Like I said in my last update video, I have been reading the books and I have been listening to them on Audible. So I did the same in order to finish this one. I didn't have as much listening time. I drove to work a couple of days because we had huge downpours and walking was just not a good choice. So I didn't have as much listening time, and I am getting back into some of the podcasts that I like to listen to. So yeah, I really needed and really need to kind of knuckle down because I haven't started the next book. It starts tomorrow, and the last little while I have been ahead a couple, a third of a book ahead, which has helped. I've been so busy, and now I'm not. I am right on the deadline, so I need to pick up the pace a little bit. Anyway, none of that matters. The second half of The Fiery Cross, what did I think? What happened? So I'm not going to talk about everything. Obviously, it's just way too long to discuss every part of this book. I'm just going to talk about what the highlights for me were. So some of the highlights of the second half of The Fiery Cross, personally, in my opinion, only my opinion, Roger and Jamie's relationship and how Roger kind of changes as a character. For me, that was a huge highlight. We've seen in the past, Jamie doesn't necessarily approve of Roger. He doesn't necessarily think like he's a capable man. You know, he really judges Roger for abandoning Brianna in his mind. Not really what happened, but whatever. He looks at Roger's skill set and thinks, okay, you're not a fighter, you're not a farmer, you're not a hunter, you don't have a trade, like you're not like a cooper or a cobbler or a smith. You know some stuff about religion and you're a good singer and generally nice guy. And that's it. So Jamie really, I don't think he sees Roger as a value added, totally. And in the second half of this book, their relationship goes through some things. Roger obviously goes through some things. And I think Jamie starts to turn into seeing Roger as more of an equal man to himself, which I really appreciated. So obviously the thing happens with Roger and his throat. I finished reading, when I filmed part 1 of this video, like my update part 1, that was about to happen. And I specifically was like, no, I'll film a video and then I'll read that bit. Because it's very emotional. It really seems like Roger's going to die. Obviously I read the books before, I knew that he wasn't, but still, it has a big impact. And it's Jamie's fault. It's 100% Jamie's fault. I mean, it's this other character, Buck's fault, really. But Jamie should have known that Roger could not handle this assignment and that, you know, it would be very easy for something to go horribly wrong, which is exactly what happened. And I do think that Jamie's responsible for that. You know, he sent Roger to the other side of the, you know, war line or the whatever you want to call it, into enemy territory with this message that, you know, wasn't really successful. Again, kind of trying to change history, right? And, you know, for that, Roger is nearly hanged by his own guys, you know, the governor of the colony. And I do blame Jamie, and I think Jamie blames himself, and I don't think that that's undeserved. And so the two of them kind of, oh, Cookie's now on my lap. Hello. I will try to keep talking, but it's distracting. So the two of them kind of have, you know, they have some bridge building to do between them and some problems to solve. When Roger asked Jamie to teach him how to fight with a sword, I thought that that was very, like, impactful. Oh, good, she's off. When Roger asked Jamie to help him, I'll just get rid of this, I guess, learn to fight, I thought that that was, you know, a big step in their relationship, and that Jamie even thinks he can do it. And Roger kind of saying, I want to kill Stephen Bonnet. Like, you know, Jamie, I think, really respects that. I don't know how respectable it is, but it really resonates with Jamie. And then their night when Jamie's bitten by the snake and he thinks he's going to die. And Roger is the one who sits with him. And I just really think that their relationship changes in this half of the book. And we see really that Roger matures. At the end, he, you know, Brianna always wanted to stay. At the end, Roger decides, okay, let's stay. So he obviously feels accepted there, and he kind of comes into his own in a really nice way. So the relationship between Jamie and Roger, I really liked in this second half of the book. I thought it was a big part of the story. God, this cat. I do feel bad for her, you know. She misses her daddy. But he's coming home in like an hour, so if only she could know that. You tell her, but she doesn't listen. Okay, what else did... Oh, I wanted to talk about kind of solving the mystery of the Frenchman's Gold. The first time I was reading this book, like a couple years ago, I thought this was kind of like a distraction. I was like, I don't care about this gold at all. Like, I don't give a shit. I just want to hear about, you know, like, well, what's happening with Brianna? What's happening with Roger? Are they okay? Like, because at the same time as right before the Frenchman's Gold is kind of solved, Jamie and Roger are at Wiley's Landing, and there's a big fight there. They are in danger, and Brianna, Claire, Marsley, and all the kids are accosted by Stephen Bonnet, and that's really dramatic. And then they kind of go back to Jocasta's, thinking something's up there, and this whole mystery is revealed. And at the time, I was kind of like, I don't care about this, but now I really care. Having read later books, now I think, oh yeah, like I kind of get it. You okay? This cat's being really funny. She's like on my leg and like that, look. Okay, so I'll try to keep talking, but this is what I'm dealing with over here. Yeah, so I found that interesting. It definitely kind of so I found the stuff with the Frenchman's Gold kind of interesting in the end. It kind of solves some questions and like puts some things to rest. So that I thought was really good. We definitely see more of Jocasta's kind of like wily side and how she is manipulating the situation, even when she says she's being honest. And it seems like the last time they discussed this, it's like, oh, she's opening up more. She's telling the whole story now. Well, clearly she wasn't at that time. She was very deliberately keeping some stuff out. And it's just interesting to see that side of her, right? And that kind of foxy, crafty side of Jamie as well, where he, you know, is always wondering who's manipulating who and who's telling the story, the whole truth, and who's not. So that was interesting. I mean, that story continues on, and I'm interested to reread the next few books and see what happens with that. The Christies arrive at the Ridge. This is a big deal. At the time, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but of course, I have read the other books, so I'm spoiled. I know that their arrival is very significant. I don't know how I feel about Tom Christie. It's interesting in this book. Jamie refuses initially to say anything bad about him, but everyone can kind of see, you know, Roger's the one who says that they can move in because Jamie's, you know, laid up with his leg from the snake bite. So Roger is the one that approves their kind of joining of Fraser's Ridge. And he and Claire can both see as soon as they say Tom Christie that Jamie kind of changes a little bit. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I wonder if Tom Christie is as stubborn as Jamie Fraser, because Jamie is always described as the most stubborn character in the whole Outlander series. Stubborn as rocks, you know, unmovable. And he's proven that quite a few times throughout the books, but it kind of seems as though Tom Christie has given him a run for his money in the stubbornness department. And when two personalities like that come together, there's often chaos. So we'll see how that goes. I really like that they're here on the Ridge. Speaking of arrivals on the Ridge, oh my God, my favorite dreamboat is back. Young Ian has returned with Rolo the dog / half wolf. And it's just wonderful. He kind of comes in, plays the hero, saves the day. No one's expecting him. And, you know, it's clear some things happened to him. Jamie kind of says, no, he's here to stay. And Claire says, oh, you know, his wife and the child, are they here? And Jamie says, no. And he hasn't mentioned them. And, you know, his eyes, there's a sadness in his eyes, and you can feel this kind of aura of just grief and tension surrounding him. So I think he's come home, but he has come home totally changed from how he left, physically, emotionally. He's matured into, a full grown man at this point. And he's had some experiences, and I think, he needs to come home and recover a little bit if he can, which I hope that he can, because he's my favorite. So I'm thrilled that young Ian is back. He's my favorite. I call him my dreamboat, not because he's described as like really attractive or anything. Actually, she describes him as homely, other than like, his like beautiful brown eyes or something, which I just love young Ian's like personality and character and his story of adventure. I just love it. So I'm very excited that young Ian is back. Less excited that the Christies are back, or have arrived, I guess, but I know that they'll play an important part in the coming books. So that's all good. The other thing that I want to talk about briefly is the reveal of Ottertooth. So young Ian comes back and he brings with him some pages written by Ottertooth that he found and sort of has interpreted, and he has figured out this kind of time travel piece. He's kind of put the pieces together of Ottertooth's story, Claire's story, which never made sense. Oh, she was in France and then America, and she thought Jamie was dead all this time and never looked into it. Like, that makes zero sense. And Brianna's arrival, how she's kind of different. He's put that together. They talk about the Ottertooth stuff. They talk about, okay, we now know that there are stone circles nearby to us. If Brianna, Roger, and the kid, Jemmy, needed to go back, they kind of discover Jemmy probably does have this gift of time travel as well, which makes sense. Both his parents are time travelers. But then ultimately they decide to stay on the ridge, and they're kind of facing the oncoming American Revolution together, stoically. And it's really funny. Claire kind of says, oh, we think that we know the most about what's going to happen. We being the people from the future, Claire, Roger, Bree. But actually it's Jamie who knows the best what's going to happen, because he's lived through these huge conflicts before. So as much as the time traveling group can kind of inform the people near to them, how it's going to go, it's really Jamie who has the most clear-sighted vision of what's going to happen because of that lived experience. So I like this book. It is book 5 in the series. I would rate it somewhere higher in the middle, I guess. Book 1 is still my favorite. Book 2 is my least favorite so far. Book 3 and 4, book 5, I don't know. I often confuse the Fiery Cross with Drums of Autumn. I often kind of get the order of events a little bit mixed up. The Roger and Bree story is really what carries through. A lot of the other things I feel like could have happened in either book. So I like this one. I would not say it's my absolute favorite, but I do like it. I like seeing the relationship between Roger and Bree. I like it more this read through than I did other times. I feel like Bree is very critical of Roger, and they're kind of critical of each other. I don't know. I like it more this time than I did the first time I read it. I kind of was like, oh, Bree and Roger, like I don't even care. But I do actually care. I enjoyed it. Out of 10, I would give it, probably an 8. Not the best Outlander book, but definitely not the worst. It gives me hope. Young Ian was not in this book hardly at all, but he comes back at the end, and that was just wonderful. I like the gathering. I like meeting all the people on the ridge, all the adventures that they have, and kind of the mystical elements that pop in now and then. I love it all. So that's my final review of this book. I enjoyed reading it. It was hard to read. Next on the docket is A Breath of Snow and Ashes. Yes, I was correct. Next on the docket is A Breath of Snow and Ashes. I am excited to read that one. Again, I don't remember what happens in that book versus what happens in the other two. But yeah, so there's A Breath of Snow and Ashes, An Echo in the Bone, and Written in My Heart's Own Blood. And I don't remember the order. I just know that A Breath of Snow and Ashes is next. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. I will keep you posted how I'm doing. And I guess that's it. If you love Outlander and you want to comment on this video, I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. If you don't mind subscribing to my channel, that would be great. It really helps me out. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.